touching tales of transcendence. Liz and the Bluebird takes place in the aftermath of one such tale, with heroes that unwittingly begin to squeeze the life out of their newfound relationship. As hard-won as it was, they're clinging to it too tightly, not knowing how to let it breathe in healthy ways, or perhaps even let it go entirely. With the narrative fulcrum far enough in the rear view, Kyoto Animation present a softly spoken and understated movie that simply asks, can a broken person hold on to their happily ever after? Liz and the Bluebird is a tale of two halves. One is a fairy tale about a girl in love struggling to let go, and the other is a fairy tale about a girl in love struggling to let go. A side story to Tatsuya Ishihara's runaway hit Sound Euphonium, Liz is a beast of a different nature. Helmed by Naoko Yamada, the celebrated director of A Silent Voice, Liz and the Bluebird works just as well as a standalone picture as it does a puzzle piece to that wider whole, singing beautifully on its own as well as part of that ensemble. The nods and winks to its franchise are just that, with the leads of that production sidelined after a brief flirtation with the camera. Yamada brings her trademark filmmaking, warm and delicate, to flesh out members of the Kitauji High School Music Club who had only featured in the periphery of that show's true focus, and this flip in perspective benefits both the movie and the series proper, colouring in a world already rich with detail. And what colour, what detail! The washed-out pastel hues of this elegantly constructed film serve its melancholia perfectly, whilst a dreamlike aside fills the screen with bright watercolours and an oversaturated storybook look. The titular Liz and her Bluebird are a mise en abîme, a tale within a tale, a children's book about two friends who love each other, but aren't necessarily good for one another. The parallels come into focus quickly, but it's a device that is deceptive in its execution. Bursting with metaphor and meaning, these segments allow a quiet film to speak clearly, its writing more explicit than anyone is willing to be in the narrative proper. Outside of this escape, its reflection in the real world soars slightly closer to Earth. Tightly shot, almost suffocatingly so, we're pulled into the introverted bubble of Mizore Yoroizuka's life. Despite being a talented and therefore integral member of the band, she has isolated herself socially. Her one friendship, a fragile thing that she shares with the well-liked and friendly Nozomi Kasaki, is her lone tether to society, and the strain this importance puts on their relationship is immediately apparent. Scoring this fracture is the diegetic soundscape of the orchestra itself. As the band prepare a piece of music from the story of Liz and the Bluebird, Mizore and Nozomi engage in a back-and-forth solo between oboe and flute, a dueling dialogue that marks the intersection of reality and fiction, our two tales converging as everything reaches its crescendo. Nozomi is everything Mizore isn't, magnetic and popular, a little too aloof for her own good, but seemingly confident in her own skin. As polar opposites, their relationship feels a little doomed from the start, with Mizore's reticent, all-important lines of dialogue drowned out all too often by the cruel silence of the piece. For a story focused on an orchestra, Liz is surprisingly soft and quiet, never raising its voice in order to be heard. It is here that the lessons Yamada and company learned during the production of A Silent Voice are plain to see. Whilst Mizore is neither deaf nor mute, she's still a presence we have to strain to hear, resilient not only to the friendly advances of her classmates but also to us as an audience, as we try to get to know her. Luckily, the stunning direction of the film's visual language ensures that every hesitant glance, each conflicted twitch of her fingers and the considered, withdrawn movements she makes, screams volumes in lieu of words. Liz and the Bluebird is a film that simply couldn't have been made by anyone else. It's so thoroughly Kyoto animation, through and through. From its lost and lonely leads, its themes of strength in our togetherness and love above all, and that recognisable swell of triumphant emotion. Their ever-quivering art blurs the line between reality and fiction, sells the duality of the piece, and smooths a fairly blunt metaphor into the fabric of a larger picture. It serves not only as punctuation to Sound Euphonium as a series, but also as a mile marker for Naoko Yamada's understanding of the human spirit. I don't believe any other director, any other studio could do justice to such an understated piece. Allow it to breathe. Allow it to live in its moments of nothingness. It's an exemplary movie that sings of Kyoani's curious strengths, of their ability not only to read between the lines, but spin entire yarns out of those seemingly empty spaces. As always, thanks for watching. I'm grateful every chance I get to talk about the shows and movies of Kyoto Animation. Not only are they absolutely beautiful and a treat to edit, but they're always so rich that they demand further exploration. I'm currently in the process of transitioning to Beyond Ghibli full-time, so if you want to fund that exciting future and help pick the topics for my next videos, head over to the Patreon and help that dream.
Suzu, a nothing special country girl who lives in the middle of nowhere. She spends her days writing and singing music with her mom and playing uneventfully in a river with her loving family. Bitch, you really thought? We all deal with loss and tragedy in different ways. Some of us build model kits, some of us get swole at the gym, and some of us engage in self-destructive behavior. Suzu copes like most of us, attending banging ragers, singing karaoke to songs of our favorite VTuber waifus. Yeah, Kazuna goes pretty hard. She sent a mysterious link from her friend Dan Clicks. Luckily, she's not pulled into an NFT scam, but instead the VR world known as you. A world where your true inner self is digitized. A world where Suzu comes Belle.
But until a Celebi. And thus it won't surprise you that this is one of the first times I'm using a Celebi in battle whatsoever, and what a better way to use Celebi than to do another one of my Pokemon Gold and Silver speed-ish runs. Looking at the standings right now, we have Mewtwo in a big lead, followed by Lugia, and then the rest of the legendaries all clumped together. Is Celebi going to be closer to the bulk? Maybe Lugia? Could it even threaten Mewtwo? I'm not so sure. There are a couple really cool things that are working for Celebi though. Celebi has 100 base stats in literally everything, which does give it a bit of a jack-of-all-trades, master-of-none vibe, but it's still good at everything. Another huge advantage Celebi has is the fact that it's in the medium-slow level-up group, the same group that the starting Pokemon are in. While at high levels, this is the second slowest group, throughout most of the game, this is actually one of the fastest groups to level up, specifically right at the beginning of the game. Sounds like an amazing Pokemon, right? Well, let's talk about its moveset. In short, it's awful, like really awful. I mean, via level up, it gets 2 attacking moves that are useful. Ancient Power,